Sitting here today with Kari Faux. Kari Faux, who are you?
I mean, I think that I am one of one. I think there's nobody else like me. I am a rapper, singer, songwriter, producer, DJ. Sometimes I sew clothes, make clothes when I feel like it. I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it.
What brings you to Minneapolis today?
I'm doing a show at 7th Street Entry. This is actually my second time being in Minneapolis. The first time was in 2019 when I went on my first headlining tour, and it was amazing. So I'm really happy to be back in Minneapolis.
We're happy you're here too. I remember being at that show. I think it was like Loring Pasta Bar in Dinkytown.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget it because like you were there, but you were like in your bed at the same time.
Yeah. That's when I brought the bed.
What was the inspiration behind that?
So there's actually like this artist, I forgot her name. It's like Terry something, but she actually had this installation where she made her like bed like really messy and like had all these clothes and stuff around it, and it was supposed to basically like symbolize like her when she's going through like a depressive state of like what her bedroom looks like. And so during that time when I made Cry for Help, that was kind of the inspo. Was like I was super sad. I was super like just out of it. And so I just decided to kind of replicate that art piece to also bring people into my space and just give them like a glimpse of what it's like when I'm not feeling like happy or just like outgoing or whatever. Like sometimes I just spend a lot of my time in the bed because I just can't like deal with the world. And so I just wanted to take that on the road and basically kind of have like a performance art piece myself. So
That's really dope. I feel the same way sometimes too. Like you just get kind of like locked in.
yeah,
Just
it's
scrolling.
like, you know what? I don't want to get out of bed. Like I don't want to deal with the world today. And so, yeah, it was really cool though, because I don't know. I feel like that was a very vulnerable thing for me to do, and it allowed people to kind of like connect with me on things that like a lot of people may not have been talking about at that time. Like I feel like mental health is like a newer topic that we're all agreeing that is really important for us to like make it through our days. So,
What do you think kind of sparked that change just in people in general?
because you can't really avoid the fact that we're all like kind of depressed and have social anxiety, and that just like the pressures of the world, whether it's like maintaining a job or having success or whatever the case may be, religion, whatever, all those things are kind of like putting a lot of pressure on us to be things that we may not necessarily want to be. Um, and also just like, I don't know, just like money, capitalism, it's like a rat race. And I think we all are feeling the effects of it, and we can't just like pretend like it's not happening. Like people are in fucked up positions right now. So
Very true. I feel like kind of the downtime and like alone time of like the pandemic kind of like made it so that people can't do the usual things that they do to like find that
yeah,
escapism too.
yeah, I feel like there was like finding escapism was really hard to do during the pandemic. I mean, like, of course, I feel like there was like there were ways of finding it if you were like smoking, drinking, partying still, but I feel like that was a time where it's like you really kind of couldn't escape your own like self or like your like introspective moments or whatever. And so I think that's why like all of us as a collective are starting to realize like, yo, like maybe I do need downtime. Maybe I do need to be able to say no, or like maybe I do need to like not go out as much or like party as much. And just understanding the importance of like just your mental health and how you feel. So
Definitely. So how would you say your life has changed between the 2019 EP and your new album, Real Bitches Don't Die?
how's my life changed? Um, I have a dog. His name's Basil. I'm in a relationship with the producer of the album Real Bitches Don't Die. His name is Felix. And I don't know, I just feel like I'm in a much happier place. I think I've done a lot of like self-reflecting, a lot of introspection and understanding like what does a successful life look like to me. And the thing is like to me, success is not like a one size fits all. It can't be like, oh, because I have a mansion and I got a boat and I got a car and I got a private jet, like I'm successful, because that's not necessarily like the definition of it. And for me, I think that I've like really started to understand what I want my life to look like, and it might not look like what other people define as success. And so I think that that has made like a huge impact on just how I move and how I see myself like existing as an artist and as a person.
Most definitely. What's the meaning behind the title of the album?
So the meaning behind the title, I mean, it's kind of like it has two meanings for me. So for me, Real Bitches Don't Die is about just like me having the staying power as an artist for 10 years. And just kind of like still being an artist that people like look to get inspiration from. But then it also has to do with like my loved ones that I've lost, and just knowing that like even if they're not physically here like in this plane of existence, they are still like there with me, and that I should, basically keep living and keep just going after the things that I want to do in their honor, and still just showing up and being myself like authentically. And so, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I felt that through the album. And I also really appreciated this one quote from you. It's like, grief is a lifelong thing. It doesn't end. When you lose someone that you are really close to, you're always grieving, but you're not grieving for the rest of your life. Like there's happy moments, and there's moments when you really feel it too, and when you have to like stay in bed all day. I was wondering how that came through in your artistic process, and how you deal with that in your daily life.
I think that I just try to have like gratitude for the moments where I'm like, where I'm happy, and then just also allowing myself to feel how I feel when I'm not, just finding like pockets of joy and just kind of like really marinating in those moments, because like happiness is fleeting, like it comes, it goes, but also sadness and like those things also come and go as well. So it's just to me, it's just about like just having gratitude for like the range of emotions that like come, and with the grieving thing, sometimes you feel like guilty for like being happy when something like has happened to you, like you lost somebody, and you're like, oh, I'm not supposed to be happy right now. Like I lost somebody a few months ago or a year ago or whatever. And, that's why I just say like that person wouldn't want me to be sad, wouldn't want me to be depressed. They would want me to keep living and, do what I want or just make myself happy. So I just try to remind myself of that. Because my loved ones don't want me to be sad. Like they don't want to be down bad at all. So I just try to remind myself.
Definitely. And like, yeah, like you said, like there's none of those happy moments without, the sad moments as well.
Yeah, you
can't
need
have, like,
the
light without
contrast.
darkness. Yeah.
You definitely need the contrast. Like, you have to have that. Like sometimes, I know this is so random, but sometimes when I'm in the shower and I have like hot water, and I just like feel so much gratitude for being able to have hot water, because there have been times where I've had to take cold showers. And so I just be like, damn, I remember what it was like when I couldn't take a hot shower. Basil, no growling, thank you.
I feel you about the hot showers thing. I mean, most of human history, we didn't even have that.
Yeah.
On a day like today, like 90 degrees outside, would you still take a hot shower?
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
I don't
Because it's
see
going to
why
be
not.
cold in whatever space I'm occupying. If I can control the temperature, it's going to be cold.
No.
It's going to be like 69 degrees.
Same here. I feel like that is a very Southern attribute, though. So I know you're from Little Rock, Arkansas, correct? What do you think people's biggest misconception about the South is?
That we're like not smart, and that we're like all hillbillies, and that we don't wear shoes, and we ride tractors and use outhouses. Hey, no growling. Thank you. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, I just think that as like the South can be not progressive, like, but that doesn't mean that there's not like good art that comes out of the South. You know, like yes, it's the Bible Belt, religion like takes over, politics takes over, and most people can only see it for that. But it's like once you get past that and you meet people that live their day-to-day lives in the South, they have very beautiful stories to tell, you know? And so that's my only thing. Like, yes, you may think that we don't speak proper English, because I know I don't. But that doesn't mean that I don't have something to say and that what I have to say doesn't matter, you know? So
Definitely. I mean, we feel a lot of that in the Midwest too, like dealing with just like the coastal people's like perceptions of like, are there
yeah,
black people in Minnesota? Are there black people in
yeah.
Wisconsin?
People ask me all the time, they're like, are there black people in Arkansas? And I'm like, yeah.
They built Arkansas.
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, a very pivotal civil rights movement, like moment happened in Little Rock. So Little Rock 9 happened. And so it's like, you just wasn't paying attention in history class, but
At all. Yeah. I also saw a lot of your Southern roots come about, I mean, throughout your discography, but specifically on Real Bitches Don't Die with Gangsta Boo, Devin the Dude. How do you go about choosing like who to collaborate with and placing them on the album?
I think I don't know, I'll just kind of like make a song and then I will sit with the song and think about whose voice I could hear on it and who I feel like could take the song to like the next level. Like with Dog and like White Caprice, like I feel like I instantly knew who I wanted on those songs. Like as soon as they were recorded, I'm like, oh, we got to get Devin, or oh, we got to get Gangsta Boo, or even like Crit with Turning Heads. It was like he has so much, like he talks so much about cars. I'm like, but this song is about a car, so it's like I needed somebody that could like tell a story and do the song justice. So yeah, it's really just about, you know, understanding who could take the song to the next level and who also could compliment me as well. So
Yeah, I understand you had a relationship, like a friendship with Gangsta Boo as well, right? Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
yeah, I actually met her in 2018, and yeah, we hung out. Like we hung out a few times, and I had sent her the song. Like she's always been super supportive. I sent her the song. She's like, "This is amazing. Like, yeah, I'm down to get on it." And so I had flew to LA, and I got a studio, and I was like, you know, pull up if you want to get on the song. She came through. She hung out. We really just like kind of hung out and talked for like a good minute, and then she just wrote her verse like on the spot. And like we were in the booth together while she recorded it. She was like, "Yeah, I want you to just come like hang out with me in the booth or whatever." And that was just like a really special moment because even though she's somebody that I knew, it was the first time of like me like seeing her recording process and me like hearing her record. Cause it's like at first I was outside of the booth and I could just hear her voice coming through the speakers. And it was just so crazy because that's somebody I grew up listening to. And so to have that moment of where she's like literally across the room recording something that I also have my voice on, that was just like, it meant everything. Cause that's like, she's a big influence to me and a lot of other people. And so I just think it's really special that I even have that song. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great song too. It must have been like, felt so surreal just to have that moment.
Yeah, it was super surreal. I'm like, what? I just remember being like 12. Hey, I remember being like 12 years old, like just listening to 3 6 Mafia because of my brother. And like her and LeChat and like Mia X, they're all just really big influences for me. So
Yeah, and you can still see a lot of their influence like across the game too, kind of unsung heroes.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like looking back on like 50 years of hip hop, like so many different like other publications are, I still don't feel like they're getting like their flowers like they're supposed to.
Yeah, no, yeah, I don't think so either. I think that this 50 years of hip hop celebration has been more focused on like New York and how New York has contributed And I mean, it started in New York, so it makes sense. But I feel like, yeah, we definitely need to have more celebrations about just like Southern rap, rap from the Midwest, because Chicago, Cleveland have been very influential, and then also the West Coast. So hopefully we get more celebrations. I feel like it should just be a thing that we're consistently celebrating like every year. So
Definitely. What do you think are some essential things about like Southern rap that most people don't know but they should?
yeah, I mean, even just like the Ghetto Boys, like they were super influential coming out of Houston. Um I mean, to me, like I always say like Outkast and like 3 6 Mafia are like two of like my favorites. Just because like 3 6 Mafia, they're like the most sampled like rap group, and they came out in like the early 90s. So to me, for them to be getting sampled as much as they do, like that's kind of historical if you think about it. Like their music's not even that old and people are just like sampling it all the time. Um I feel like what Master P did as far as like being an entrepreneur and like putting out like 23 albums in like a year and going like 20 of them going platinum, like that type of stuff is like actually insane to think about. And I think that that's just like that's just a very essential thing about being Southern is like you don't have a lot of access to, you know, like studios or record labels or videographers or anything. You know, you kind of have to make do with what you have. And that's always kind of been like the Southern like mentality, especially for me. Like I came from Little Rock, Arkansas, and people know who I am, but that's because I had to like make do with what I had. Like I had to find a homie that had a camera. His camera wasn't that good and his editing skills wasn't all that, but we made it work and people felt it and they fucked with it. So yeah, I just think that it's just more about like making do with what you have, and that can be you could be from anywhere and make that happen. But I think in the South, you just have to like have that extra oomph for like the rest of the world to like hear you and take you seriously.
Definitely. It shouldn't be that way, but that kind of ingenuity is like really inspiring. Especially like, I mean, there's just a big South Midwest connection because of like the diaspora after, you know, Reconstruction and everything like that. You still feel it.
Yeah.
It's just up the Mississippi. Another thing vaguely Southern I wanted to talk about with you was King of the Hill. I just want to like give you 5 minutes just to go crazy about it.
I just love King. I love King. Rest in peace to Dale. Rest in peace to Dale. I love King of the Hill. It's funny because I actually started watching it when I was a kid, and I don't know if I really understood what was happening in most of those episodes as a kid, but then when I watched it as an adult, I'm like, oh no, I definitely understood the humor then. And I still watch it to this day. Every character on there is very special to the show. I literally say, "God damn it, Bobby." Like, I say, "God damn it, Bobby," multiple times a day. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Mike Judge, great, just creator in general. I actually have a Beavis and Butthead tattoo on my butt. And yeah, shout out to Mike Judge. Thank you for making King of the Hill and Beavis and Butthead. And for Daria being kind of a spinoff of that whole little era.
Which is like the craziest thing. I mean, he was very versatile. Idiocracy, Office Space, Tales from the Tour Bus is really good too.
Oh yeah, Tales from the Tour Bus is really good. I actually, I got hip to that like a few years ago. I like the story about George Clinton and how he made Atomic Dog. I don't know if you've seen that one.
Oh, I saw that.
That shit was funny.
It really was. I mean, that was like a creative process for sure. Yeah. So I was watching your Colors performance earlier today, and I saw a comment on there. When they dress like a Tekken character, you know it's going to be fire. Do you have any style tips to share with our viewers?
My style tips is just put on whatever you want to wear. Just wear whatever makes you feel good. Just wear that, honestly. Because I feel like when you feel good, no matter what you're wearing, your confidence will just shine through. There's been times where I've put on the most ridiculous shit I can think of, and because I think I look cool, I'll just wear it, and people are like, I would have never worn that, but I like it on you. I'm like, yeah, because it's me. It's something that I like. But the Tekken character comment, I actually know, I saw that one first and I was like, I like that. Yeah. Yeah, just wear whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It's just clothes.
It's just clothes. Has there ever been a moment that just like you had an idea in your head, you put it on and it's just like, no, I can't leave the house? Or is it just like always just like gung-ho with it?
Sometimes there's been times where I had an idea of what I thought something was gonna look like and then it didn't pan out. And then I just don't wear it. Because if I don't feel good in it, then it's like, if I know it doesn't look, or if it doesn't look good to me, I'm not gonna wear it. And then most of the time, I'm just one of those people that just like, oh, I'm gonna put on this shirt, and then I'm gonna put on these pants, and I'm gonna put on these shoes. And not necessarily because it matches or whatever. It's just like, this is my favorite shirt right now. This is my favorite skirt. This is my favorite pair of shoes. And they all might be like clashing, but they're all my favorite things, so I feel good in them. And then I just make it work.
Nice. So my understanding is that you kind of got your start writing as like a poet, right?
Mm-hmm.
What made you choose being a musician or a musical artist over poetry?
Well, because when I was a poet, I was a kid. I was writing poetry in like middle school, which were probably not good poems at all. But I just like the act of like writing to express myself. But I always like loved music. I loved listening to music. And with rap music, I got introduced to it by my older brother. And so when he would, let me go through his CD collection and stuff, I would just be putting on different CDs. And I just liked how they could say something in a rhythmic way and like making certain things fit in a rhyme scheme. And I think that for me, that felt a little bit more challenging than poetry, maybe. I don't know. I've never thought about it, but maybe that's what it was. And, you say it to a beat, and that's cool. And so I started recording in, like, the 10th grade. I recorded my first song. And when I heard my voice back, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. And then I kept doing it, and I was like, okay, wait. I feel like I got the hang of it. I learned how to, how to count bars and, like, what a hook was, and so once I actually figured out how to like make a song, I was like, oh no, this is what I want to do.
Do you find yourself like drawn to that kind of like challenge aspect in a lot of different things that you do?
Yeah, because I feel like if I'm not being challenged, then I'm just kind of staying like stagnant or just kind of complacent in what I'm doing. So if I don't create challenges for myself, then I'm just gonna keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. That's kind of why, like, I challenge myself to never make the same song twice. And there are, like, I don't know, there's some people that have a sound and, like, their sound is, like, that's just what it is. And so they tend to make, like, they'll make different songs, but the songs kind of feel the same. And so I never want to do that. And, I mean, that may also, like, turn people off from listening to me because they never get the same thing twice. But I mean, whatever. If you want the same thing, go find somebody. Go listen to the same song on repeat.
Right. I mean, variety is the spice of life. So
yeah.
What are some other ways that you're trying to challenge yourself right now?
I don't know. I think I'm just trying to show up as myself. That's a challenge. At all times, though. Like, any opportunity that I have to show up as myself, I want to, like, take that challenge. I did, like, this Slurpee commercial with, like, Flo Milli, Maya the Don, and, like, Too Rare. And that was a challenge for me because I had never done, like, a commercial before. And so I was super nervous about it because I was like, oh, like, am I gonna do good? And I was very nervous, but then I was like, you know what? This is an opportunity for me to just show up and like show people who I am and showcase what I'm about. And I did it, and I had a lot of fun. And so now it's like, okay, Like, I want to do more stuff like that. But I would have never done it if I would have never, like, challenged myself to, you know, put myself in that position.
For sure. I've never drank a Slurpee before.
Really?
No.
You've
They don't
never
really have 7-Elevens like that out here.
You never had an icy?
I remember like seeing icy like on the thing and just being like, okay, why would I get this if I can just get like a regular soda?
Yeah.
I used to fuck up some soda, but like never
No,
like a Slurpee.
ices are so good. Slurpees are good. Like, you gotta try one.
One of
How
these
old are
days.
you?
24.
No, you have to indulge. At least once.
They paid you to say that.
No, they didn't. I said icy. Icy's their competitor. I said icy and Slurpee.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
They didn't pay me. Not to say that.
All right. You also said that usually for you, a conversation turns into a song, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what conversation sparked a song like Me First?
Oh, that wasn't a conversation at all. I was actually by myself on New Year's Day, 2022. And my homie had sent me a pack of beats, and I was just listening to the beats. And then that instrumental came on, and I just started saying whatever came to my mind. And then I said, like, it's me first, nigga, because, you know, I put in work. And I was like, oh, that's cute. And I just kept building on it. So it wasn't a conversation. It was just me being silly.
I feel you. I still think that's a really interesting process, though. Were there any, like, specific moments you remember from, like, crafting the album where, like...
I think Drunk Verse Sober Thoughts. That was a conversation between me, Felix, The Mind, and Blake Davis was in there. And we were just all in there talking about just like really just needing the space to be solved. Like, you know, you have to always kind of be on guard and like be vigilant with people. And yeah, that was just a song, like a conversation that turned into a song like that same night. And that's actually one of my favorite songs on the album.
Yeah, it's great. Cool. Well, I just have one more question left for you. What's important to Kari Faux?
Oh, what's important to me? Family is really important. And it's not necessarily about like biological family. It's just about those that, you know, that you're in community with that show up for you and you show up for them. Basil's important to me. He's important to me. But also I think just leaving behind like a legacy of authenticity and being honest and vulnerable through my art, whatever art form that is. Making people feel like I'm living a life that encourages them to live the life that they want to live. Being a beacon of joy in the world, because right now shit is it's weird as fuck. But I think that's what's really, really, really important to me is like, yeah, being that, just being able to be a good guy.
I feel you. Well, thanks for joining us today, Kari Faux. Anything coming up you want to talk about?
Just come see me on tour. Come see Basil on tour.
All right.
Basil, you was being bad.